is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new, and welcome, everyone. Okay, so this happening with Ilhan Omar, with this man who jumped out and sprayed some type of liquid on her. One witness said it smelled like vinegar. Um, Ilhan Omar said it smelled really bad. And of course, there's a lot of speculation going on about the whole thing. Laura Loomer posted on X that she wants to investigate as to whether the attack was real or not. And um, it's too early to say, right? And I know a lot of people are already coming to conclusions on both sides about the weird guy with the syringe of some yellow substance in it. So I don't think people should be rushing to a conclusion on him because we really don't know. There has not been um, there has not been any true confirmation of his social media profile. Okay, there's one circulating in the news that's starting to make the mainstream news, of course, that he was right wing and had posted pro MAGA things and such. But you look at Ilhan Omar, and she's facing some serious investigations. Some serious investigations. This one story about her finances, where her and her husband invested $15,000 in this winery, and now it's worth what, $5 million. Turned $15,000 into $5 million. I mean, that's a better return than Paul Pelosi and the Clintons get on their investments. Remember back in the Whitewater days with the Clintons. And she is facing not just investigations, but serious investigations. There's a story today that the Biden Justice Department was even looking into her finances. But that wasn't a serious investigation. What's been going on lately, looking into Ilhan Omar's finances, is serious. All right. And I don't believe in coincidences. I don't think many people do. Um, and for something so strange to happen while she's facing these major investigations into her finances, everything centering around Minnesota, is suspicious. There's no doubt about it. And if you've seen the video of the guy with the liquid, and he had a syringe, it had a liquid in it. It looked yellow to me, um, in the syringe, because when the security guy grabbed the guy, he still had the syringe in his hand, and in the still picture, you get a good look at it. And we don't know what was in it. One witness is heard saying it smelled like vinegar. Omar said it smells really bad, but we really don't know at this point. Um, but if you look at the video of the guy before the event, he just doesn't look like a normal person. I mean, I don't know. He just didn't seem like a normal guy. And the timing of it obviously is very, very convenient for her, right? Um, I think one of the things that has everyone more suspicious than anything is her reaction after the event. If someone um, sprays a substance on you, I don't think many people would say, let's keep going, let's keep going. Someone sprays a substance on you, that's a terrifying thing, right? You don't know what it is. It could be poison. It could be anything. And it's not just something that could harm you, depending on what the substance is. It can harm the people around you in the room. So the reaction she had after the incident to me is very, very strange. Doesn't seem normal to me. you know, and it's almost like trying to do a replay of Trump and Butler with the fight, fight, fight moment. But when when Trump got up, you could see, you could hear conversation with him before he got up because the mic was there. Where are my shoes? Give me my shoes. They wanted to carry him. He said no, and he got up and he was shook up and everything. She just did not look shook up. She seemed too cool to coast. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you believe? Well, the first question I'll ask, this is yes or no. Was her reaction after the incident, did it seem normal to you? Yes or no? For somebody that just experienced such an incident like that, yes or no? Was her reaction normal? I say it was not. Sorry, it's really cold here in Florida. We're going to have this weekend. We're going to have our coldest day in 15 years. So, and the cold weather affects my breathing and sinuses. Yeah, her reaction just was not a normal reaction, in my opinion. It just was not a normal reaction, especially if somebody were to spray a substance on you. You know, when there's a violent incident and they got the person, it's over, right? But especially if you're in a small room, right, like that. But if somebody has put a substance on you, that's pretty terrifying. I mean, you have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. And her reaction just was not a normal reaction. It just was not. Because you're not at a point like that, you're not just worried about yourself, you're concerned about the people around you in that room. In my view, my first reaction would be, get me out of these clothes, call an ambulance, get me out of these clothes, especially the shirt she was wearing, because he sprayed her right in the chest. Right in the chest is where he sprayed her. And I would immediately call an ambulance, and I would go to the restroom and take my shirt off immediately. And I would start washing my face and everything with the water from the sink in the bathroom. That would be my immediate reaction. If somebody sprayed a substance on me, a liquid substance on me, or any kind of substance, that would be my immediate reaction. Wouldn't it be yours? Get the shirt off and wash off in the sink of the bathroom while you're waiting for the ambulance to come. I think that would be a normal reaction to something like that. And, it's kind of what we learned what to do in school, right? If something like that. Ever have science class and they have those stations in case some chemical gets spilled on somebody, how you react, or a station at a job site where, there can be hazardous things where you got to wash out your face. And that's what I would do. Eye flush fountains. Yeah. Yeah. You'd want to wash off. You'd want to get it's very cold up there. She's wearing multiple layers. So that gives you some, but he sprayed her right in the chest. If you look at it. The guy, to me, when he was sitting in the chair drinking his bottled water, just did not look like a real person. Meaning, he just looked like a guy playing a part. I mean, he just did not look like a real guy. They just happened to be there. To me. And I know they're saying he's MAGA. How many MAGA people are there in Minnesota? Mm-mm. No, the whole thing stinks. And she really is facing some hardcore real investigations over her finances now. And I think most of us have agreed for the last couple of weeks that everything that was happening in Minnesota, the root cause was Tim Walz trying to avoid getting arrested for financial crimes. And what this what this could be an attempt to do is to get people to lay off the investigations. When people are involved in criminal activity and corruption and such, and they're about to get caught, they start doing crazy things and they don't think clearly. Yeah, I mean, to me, I would be freaking out. If somebody sprayed me with something like that, I would be freaking out. From a syringe, there was an incident, I don't know, 10 years ago or so with Tom Cruise. He was on a red carpet and somebody threw a glass of water in his face. And he didn't run away. He sat there and talked to the guy. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But it was a glass, and you could tell it was like a drink in the glass. This was a syringe with a dark yellow liquid in it. So that would just send off red flags to me. If I, if somebody sprayed me with something out of a syringe, I would want to get the hell out of there and get out of those clothes. Right? I know she's playing tough. I survived a war. I'm going to finish this. No, no, her reaction was too calm. I think way too calm. But the guy has been arrested. Minneapolis police actually can arrest people, and they got the booking photo out, and they got him in an orange jumpsuit already. So he was arrested by the Minneapolis police and charged. But the guy's not a normal person. If you see him there before the event sitting there, he's not a normal person at all. Even the president said he doesn't believe it. So it's interesting. For the president to say that, he had to have gotten briefed. So that's not just something he said. So you really have to take what President Trump says as very serious, as very informed analysis, in my opinion. So give me a yes or no. Was that a real event? Yes or no? Was it real? Yes or no? Yes or no? Was it real? You could say there's three options: yes, no, or you don't know. Was it real? Yes, no, or you're not sure. Doesn't, I'll give a third option for this one because we don't have a lot of information yet. Yes, no, or you're not sure. The consensus pretty much on social media is nobody buys it. Nobody buys it. Greg Kelly on Newsmax last night doesn't buy it. The president doesn't buy it. I mean, these are smart people. And the timing of it, it just, I think mainly it was her reaction afterwards. Her reaction afterwards is what I think sends off red flags with people. It's not a normal reaction at all. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll find out soon. I would have gotten out of there. I would have said call an ambulance. I'd go to the men's room. I would have taken the shirt off and I would have started washing my face out and as much as I could wash off in the sink of the bathroom while the ambulance came. That's what I would do. And I think that's a normal reaction. I think that most people would do. I don't think I just not imagine any scenario where you're a public person, someone's squirt something on you out of a syringe like that, and you're so calm, cool, collected, and you want to continue your speech. Yeah. I'm sure the biggest meme out of this is going to be a take something along the lines of someone did something. That's, remember she said some people did some things about 9/11. There'll be a lot of memes based on that. Someone did something. No, her reaction was not a normal reaction. Not a normal reaction. And when the president said fight, 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 you could see you could tell he'd gotten hit. He was covered in blood, but you could see in his face that something had happened. There was no emotion, no emotion really. And seatbelt on. I'm using the mic from my medical glasses. Yeah, we're going to have our coldest day in 15 years over the weekend. I was thinking about going to Kennedy Space Center this weekend. They've got the Artemis 2 on the launch pad, and I haven't been to Kennedy Space Center in a few years, and it's going to be in the 20s at Kennedy Space Center, so I don't know about that. That seems a little cold. I don't have clothing for weather like that. In the 20s, it's going to be at Kennedy Space Center this weekend. Well, the crime ring in Minnesota, Ilhan Omar is at the top of the chain of that, right? The Democrats in Minnesota set all this stuff up. So, they're the ones that are at the top of that. And while people have talked about her finances for the last few years, this time that Ilhan Omar is worried herself that she could be prosecuted. And they can't understand about criminals. They know everything they've done, and they start to panic because they think the investigators, the cops, know everything they've done too. And they start acting irrationally. And we've seen the distraction that Tim Walz put up with these protests to avoid a federal investigation into the Somali pirate Leering Center fraud. So, after we've had that for 2 or 3 weeks, this incident and with her reaction has sent off a lot of red flags. If she would have reacted normally, not try, because what she was trying to do is put herself in this brave face. And she didn't do that at all. It made it look like it was fake. But like I said, we don't know, and they've used patsies before. This guy, we really don't know what his politics are. Of course, they're calling him right wing. There's been some confusion with people doing social media investigations. I've seen some reports that he's had a few things posted about him. I mean, that he posted on social media, pro-Trump, anti-her. I don't know, but that doesn't mean he's not a patsy. And watch, if it turns out the guy is MAGA, this is what the media and the liberals do, right? This guy did this thing. If he's MAGA, it's an indictment against all MAGA. But when their people are assassinating Charlie Kirk or shooting the president or trying to shoot the president again at the golf course, or a Democrat Bernie Sanders supporter shoots Steve Scalise, that has nothing to do with the Democrats. But if this guy's MAGA, it'll be an indictment against every MAGA person. That's how they are. right? Before the guy got up, the way he was acting and sitting in that chair was just so strange. When he's drinking his bottled water, just he didn't seem normal to me at all. I've been doing a lot of work this morning. It probably be surprising to some of you, but I cleaned the oven this morning using Easy Off. I've never cleaned an oven with Easy Off before. I've done the self-cleaning thing, but the self-cleaning, it just burns everything off, right? And it just puts a bunch of smoke in the house. So I used Easy Off. I put the Easy Off in yesterday, and this morning I wiped it out. Works pretty good. That's right. I bet Mark Levin doesn't clean ovens. He probably doesn't have to. Oh man, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. Okay, so here's the question. It's a yes or no answer. Do you believe the Ilhan Omar incident is real? Yes or no? Was it real? Yes or no? Yes or no? Starbucks is opening in a minute. All right, the trolls say yes, it was real. Really, a real event. All right, make sure you subscribe if you're new. Everything's going to be divided by political lines on this. We've got a lot of liberal trolls in here. They're all going to say yes. I don't see how anyone could look at her reaction and say that was a normal reaction. I just don't see how. Her reaction was not a normal reaction. I'm sorry. It just wasn't. That doesn't mean it wasn't real, but her reaction was not normal. These Meta glasses work pretty well, I got to tell you. I don't use them all the time for the mic when I'm doing a live stream like this, but on occasion, out of convenience, and I think they work pretty well. I like them. All right, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. On the next stream, I'm going to get my coffee, go back to the studio. On my next live stream, I'll be in the studio taking your calls live, and you can share your thoughts on the Ilhan Omar event. Of course, that's going to be the lead story today. I already have the video up there to start the live stream with the thumbnail and the title. All right, so I'll see you there on the next stream. Thanks for watching. I'm Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to